Carlitos Alcaraz survives a big test today, coming through in 5 sets, maintaining his almost perfect 5-set record. Jannik Sinner had an easier match today, but of course he had a big test in the last round, in the second round, in former finalist Matteo Berrettini, and he did excellent in his test. And then now, tomorrow, we will see Novak Djokovic up against a test with another big serving player. But as Mrs. Cat just comes out of Mr. Goat's world-famous goat boat, the original goat boat, it brings our attention to the fact that today is going to be the hardest show I've ever done. It's rare that the host is overshadowed by his co-host, but that is what Mr. Goat, the talking tennis cat, did here at this show for, 8 years now. This would have been, I believe, his 8th Wimbledon, but sadly, Mr. Goat passed away 3 weeks ago today. And there's something to be said for having a friend. By the way, we're not drinking any beer or wine today. We have Mr. Goat's favorite drink, which is fancy, natural, artisan spring water, Fiji water here. Mr. Goat, he preferred water to be running like in a stream or out of a faucet. But if he had to drink water out of a bottle, he would probably pick this one most of the time because he is a fancy cat, a classy cat. He was an expert in tennis. He loved going outside. And this is his leash. He loved to be walked on a leash outside. But the thing he loved the most of all was being here on this desk where the action was when the biggest tennis tournaments in the world were happening. And no matter how you feel in life, I'm not unique. We all have challenges and down times. He was always a great friend to me, and I'll always be grateful to him for that. So I'm gonna play a montage, this different show today, very different. I'm gonna play a clip of Mr. Goat's some times of Mr. Goat over the years here on the show, and some of your comments from over the years as well. It's not every cat that, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, guys. Let's just play this, and I'll do my best. Where's Mr. Goat?
Oh my God, Mr. Goat, did you see what Benoit Paire did to his hair? Well, look what I did. I sat down in the barber's big glorious chair, and I said, make me look like Dominic Thiem, that boy from Austria. And my barber said, who?
"11 great years with Mr. Goat." I always imagined he would be one of those cats that lives to like 20 years old, but sadly he is no longer with us. But we will always remember him for his antics on this show. And one of my favorites is this.
As that match was yesterday. So with all that said, where are my comments? Mr. Goat, what'd you do with... Mr. Goat, did you just knock my coffee cup off the table?
I love the I love the slow motion here. We're both so genuinely startled, surprised.
Mr. Goat is bagel crazy.
Oh yeah, this is
not
great.
just for Roger to get them, but he loves a little bagel. There you go, Mr. Goat. Bagel crazy. Well, he's definitely alert and awake now. No bagel there, Mr. Goat. Just my finger. So, is Roger going to beat Feliciano Lopez? That's what.
He did beat Feliciano Lopez, by the way. Here's Mr. Goat. He's actually not on the leash here. He's off of the leash, but he loved just walking slowly around my yard and smelling things at his own pace, whether the leash was on or not. Of course, I didn't want anything bad to happen to him, have him get startled and run out into the road or something, so I usually had the leash on Mr. Goat. But this is what he would do. He would basically just sniff a plant or a bush for like 5 minutes and then slowly walk me along to the next thing where he would do some more sniffing. Anyways, we are going to talk about tennis today, but I want to go through a couple more things about Mr. Goat. And like I said, he'd go very, very slowly. By the way, Mr. Goat was named Oatis when I first got him. That was his name, and I started to call him Mr. Oats, like a little nickname. And then it made sense with when I started Coffee Break Tennis to say Mr. Oats, Mr. Goat. That's what the name changed into. But there's something to be said for his ability to sit here no matter how loud I got. I mean, he would take off sometimes when I started talking and getting louder. He did that pretty common. But he would hang around while I would talk about tennis for very long periods of time, which, as you can see, Mrs. Cat, once I hit a certain volume, she's gone. There's something to be said. Take a look at this from back in 2017 Wimbledon when we first started doing the show. Something to be said for a cat that will hang around next to you while you're, while you're banging on a cowbell.
Well, come on, Mr. Goat. Hit that tambourine.
I think that was actually me making that cat set. That was him. Banging that cowbell right at him, and he was hanging in there. Mr. Goat has been in quite a few music videos with me over the years, and I'll miss him so very much. I can't stress enough what a good friend he has always been to me, and I hope Mr. Goat and his will left behind the goat boat for Mrs. Cat. And Mrs. Cat actually seems to be kind of lonely, and maybe there'll be another cat here soon to keep her company, because she has spent some time looking around the house trying to find where is Mr. Goat, which is such a common thing that was commented here. Whenever I do a video, let's put that right there, Mr. Goat. Mr. Goat's cat leash, cat harness. A very common comment if I do a video without Mr. Goat is, where is Mr. Goat? Where is Mr. Goat? And I'm so sorry to tell you all that he won't be here again, but he'll always be in our hearts and in our minds. Anyways, let's put my draw on the screen, which I did later than I've ever done before. It'll never be the same doing Coffee Break the Tennis without Mr. Goat. And I don't know how many times he kept me company while I was up late editing videos, and he would just kind of sit with me, lay his head on my arm while I edit, as you saw in some of those pictures in the Mr. Goat highlight reel I made. Anyways, if we look at this draw, it's amazing, right? I didn't fill it out until 3 rounds through. I've never been that late before. Comasana, this guy, despite how distraught I've been over Mr. Goat, I have been watching the tennis as I always do. No matter what's going on, I find time to watch as many matches as possible. And this Comasana guy kind of came out of nowhere and upset Rublev. He will play Musetti tomorrow, I believe. Yes, tomorrow. Impeshi Perry-Carr, guy that we were talking about leading up to the French Open. This guy might have the biggest serve in the world right now, and he is serving outstanding. I believe he has not been broken yet. He will go up against Emil Ruutsovori, who took out Steph Tsitsipas, whose backhand was so bad. And we've talked about it for years at Wimbledon. Tsitsipas really has a hard time, and I'll show you some highlights of Fabio Fognini in a little bit. Tsitsipas really has a hard time just blocking those slice returns to get into a point on grass, especially, or on a fast hard court too. We've seen him struggle with that, but usually at least he can get his topspin backhand working. It's so important when you get run into the corners. It's very hard to run into the corner on grass and change direction and come back to the middle of the court. Something that we're going to be looking out to see how Djokovic does in his next match as he plays Alexei Popyrin, who's got a big serve. He's got the kind of weapons that typically work well at Wimbledon. It'll be interesting to see how Djokovic does after having a pretty long match in his last match after coming back from surgery, a knee surgery. It's a challenging match, his last match at least. So it'll be interesting to see how Djokovic moves in and out of the corners. But sorry to flip my draw around. But anyways, back to Tsitsipas. He's unable to do that because his slice is not very good. Occasionally you'll see him hit a good slice, but it's not like Matteo Berrettini who has a very effective slice, and it's helped him be so good on the grass. So Tsitsipas, he couldn't even get his topspin backhand working. Excuse me. This has been a toughest video to make of my life. Just as much as I love going through all that footage of Mr. Goat, it makes you realize how much you miss him, And I always will miss him. Anyways, Ruutsovori took Tsitsipas out. Not a big surprise there. Maybe a surprise. If I'd done this draw from the beginning, I probably would have had Tsitsipas coming through there. But going down to Zverev in the quarters for sure. And I liked Ruutsovori's chances just because I always like Ruutsovori, but he's not been doing well lately, so I wouldn't have picked him to come through this time, maybe this year. But a good time to start playing well if you're in a slump is at Wimbledon for sure. Anyways, Impeshi Perry-Carr, I got him beating Ruutsovori just because of the way he's serving, and especially when the court's like this, early on in the tournament when there's a lot more lush grass, the grass is longer, and it really deadens that bounce, keeps it low, and gets through the court pretty quick. Even though the grass is playing slow, Medvedev has told us the grass is playing even. Wimbledon's playing even slower than in years past this year, is according to Danny Medvedev. But when the grass is like that big serve is pretty sweet. So I'm going to give him the edge over Ruutsovori tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either one come through. Musetti is finally figuring out how to play on grass. Looked pretty good on grass leading up into Wimbledon. But I've got L'Homme Francais coming through into the quarterfinals and going down to Zverev, who since I saw him go to Halle, Germany after the French Open, and, just his result at the French, I feel like Zverev is going to do very well here and may make the final. I have a question mark in the semifinal. Let's go down. Hui Sefulin is pretty good on grass, indoor courts, low bouncing courts. I have him coming through Arthur Fils. Arthur Fils beat Hubi Dubi in some very strange scenes. Hubi hurt his knee, and it really didn't look like... Take a look at it for yourself. To me, this injury... And I don't have the close-up for you, but I saw it when it happened. But you can see right there, it doesn't look like he twisted his leg in a weird way or anything. But somehow he messed up his knee pretty badly. You'll see Arthur Fils come over. Arthur Fils come over and try to help his buddy out.
He's down on the turf, and he seems to be struggling with a right leg injury.
Oh, he's struggling.
Was it a knee injury?
That guy's jaw was dropped.
Shows no signs of standing up just yet.
He starts to get up and thinks maybe I shouldn't. And the crowd thinks he's going to be okay, but he is not. He actually went back down on the ground. The trainer comes out. They help him over to here where they work on him for a bit. Then you can see they really they wrap his knee a lot. And then this is the craziest part. Now, Arthur-Fils, he helps Hubie by hitting. Hubie plays 2 points on the leg after that. And it's kind of interesting to see how well you can play when you're not moving. And you can see he's not moving well, but Arthur-Fils hits every ball kind of straight to him. Hard to make your opponent run when you know they're injured. Right there you can see a little awkward. Does good with that ball, but moving weird. And then that one, that's too much. That's the first time he strikes the ball in a way where he'd have to really sprint out to the corner to get it, and he can't even try it. So we wish Hubie Doobie, we wish him well. We wish him a speedy recovery. We wish him well, and that was certainly a strange way to see someone go out. You know, Tiafoe fell in his match with Alcaraz today, and it looked more like something that could be serious, but he gets up and he's fine. Anyways, Hubie Doobie didn't look like an obvious injury there, but obviously it was pretty serious. So Fils comes through, and I think he loses to Safullin, who's pretty good on the grass. I think the Demon will take him out. I think the Demon will be able to take out Luca Pouille, but you know the thing about Pouille is, he's been trying to come back for a while from injuries, and he's not his old self. Maybe he'll never get there, but he's trying. But here he is in the third round because experience really helps at Wimbledon, because there's nothing like playing on grass all year. The only thing you compare it to is like slow indoor, low bouncing hard courts maybe. Now that Wimbledon does play so slow. But there's really nothing like it, and you play on it for such a short period of the year. So the guys who have been coming to Wimbledon for years and years, they tend to really have an edge. So Demon, great year. He's been good on grass for a long time, right? I expect him to do very well, and I would think it's going to be very hard. I think he beats Huya Safullin. And I think it'll be very hard for Joker to take out Rune and the Demon. I've got the Joker coming through. I've got to see how he does against Popyrin. Against that Jacob Fernley guy, we saw, Djokovic looked pretty good. Djokovic has said, let's look at some Joker stats. Here's that match. Here's that Fernley guy. It was a challenging match, and we did see Joker's ground strokes struggle at times. He's serving pretty well. Take a look at that. I mean, he's hitting the spots. I'm seeing him hit some great returns. I'm interested to see a guy who can really serve lights out at Wimbledon and Popyrin. I'm interested to see how Joker returns against a guy like that. But Joker in his first round looked pretty good. Looked pretty good in the second round too, but he got worked harder, and it'll be interesting to see how he recovers. He says that he's playing pain-free in the knee. There's no pain, but he feels like he's not as fast. Definitely doesn't have the normal speed. And Popyrin has the firepower to test. Like I said, it's hard on grass to get your footing. So running into the corner and having to recover back really quickly, a guy with the firepower of Popyrin or Holger Rune, it'll be interesting to see them, how Joker's able to move playing against them if they really test him. So I want to see that tomorrow. And then I'll feel more confident with my pick, and then I'll make my pick for if he's going to beat Zverev. But I do like Zverev's chances to get to the final. Let's see. Going over here, we got Sinner and Ben Shelton coming up pretty soon. Of course, Shelton has to finish Shapovalov. I think he will, but that match has to be finished. Dimitrov comes through Monfils pretty easy. Medvedev has to finish Struffy Struff. I thought that would be a tough match. It didn't start off tough for Medvedev. It looks like it got tough before they had to stop. The weather is not good this weekend. It'll be hard to get these matches done. Going down below that, Alcaraz took out Tiafoe today in a challenging match. Tiafoe is good on grass. He got a good slice backhand. If you have a nice slice like Dimitrov, it goes a long way at Wimbledon. This is the best place to have a nice slice. Maybe why Roger Federer is the best here. Still is, one ahead of Djokovic. I will say, Djokovic made his slice a lot better over the years. Sinner, too, has improved his slice. But maybe you don't think of Djokovic and Sinner as guys like Federer and Dimitrov having, the greatest slice backhands in the world. Well, Djokovic is pretty damn good at the slice nowadays. But I was just going to say, think about like a guy like Manarino. You don't think of him as a super slice backhand, but he does have that low bouncing shovel backhand that's very flat. Kyrgios too, another guy. Anyone with good feel in the backhand who can get really low is going to do well at Wimbledon, who has a flat backhand and can hit it with some power and depth. And that is why I think Jannik Sinner is going to win this tournament and why Djokovic has won the thing 7 times. Won't be shocked if he wins it again this year or next and gets an 8th one there as well. Ugo Humbert, another guy, very flat strokes, can great lefty serve, very effective on the grass. No surprise to see here. I think that's going to be a tough match for Alcaraz, as they like to say. More and more commentators are saying that now. Tommy Paul was a guy who first showed off his skills on the clay, but he's definitely one of these guys who's getting better. He's been around long enough. He's getting better on the grass. Took out Bublik. Normally I would pick Bublik to beat him, but Bublik's not doing too well this year, even on the grass so far, leading up on smaller grass court tournaments coming into Wimbledon. Fabio Fognini, another guy with a ton of experience here and incredible hands, incredible feel, and a nice, flat, easy, loosey-goosey strokes. Take a look at this. This is when he took out Casper Ruud boy, who kind of the opposite, right? Even his backhand's got a lot of spin on it. We know how he likes to play, and this is not a good place for the way he likes to play, but Fabio Fognini was awesome in this match, and I'll show you some highlights. So look at him hugging that baseline. He backs up for that first ball, but he's going to get back up on the line, and rarely will he surrender it. And hitting those flat,
at the moment,
easy power flat balls, taking it very early, more effective on grass than anywhere else. One of the reasons why Roger Federer is so good. And directing them up the line. When you go up the line on grass, on clay, Casper Ruud has time to run over there. The ball will hang in the air longer. It's a little slower. Even slow grass at Wimbledon, still slower on clay. A little slower, and it'll hang in the air longer. You got time to run over there and get it. On grass, the ball dies. It gets through the court faster because it doesn't bounce as high. So you have less time to get over there. And when Fabio Fognini is assaulting those lines like that, going straight up the line with the bounce so low, it's very difficult to get to. Here's another one. On the baseline, taking it very early, getting it pretty deep and into Casper Ruud's body. Now he's inside the court as Casper Ruud is behind the baseline and finishes him with a pretty easy drop shot there. Well, at least he made it look easy. I assure you, I play tennis. It is not easy to hit drop shots like that. Here's another one. Feet inside the line as he's hitting that. Casper Ruud's hanging on to the baseline too, and Fabio Fognini sees that. Doesn't feel like he's running the point like he has been, so he just pulls the trigger up the line like, this isn't favorable to me. Let's just finish it right now. And he was feeling it on that day. So now look, Casper Ruud on the other. Look, where is he? Maybe he's just off to the side. Okay, he's off to the side. He's actually taking the ball pretty early there. But he's right away pretty far behind the baseline for grass. And now he's really out of it. And then look at this close-up.
Beforehand, isn't it? You can barely believe he gets that much power on such a short backswing.
Look at that. Oh, my God. On the rise. Like, way on the rise. Took that ball so early. And they're saying they can barely believe how much power he gets with the short backswing. Roger Federer was like that too. Didn't have a very big backswing. Sometimes he'd reach back a little further, but it was pretty compact. Like he did hit a lot of power from there, but it wasn't as much about the power as he scooped that thing up with Casper Ruud way out of position on the left side of the court. He just scooped that thing up super early, and then redirects it. That was awesome. Another return. Trying to get up to the line, but he is falling back again. Good time for the drop shot. Look at Casper Ruud. It's even harder to change direction on grass than it is on clay. Casper Ruud had no chance to redirect up to get his footing and get up there. Here's another one way back there. This is just playing this like a clay court point. He's going to run side to side way back in the court. And he actually does a good job with that one big shot he hit. Maybe that's why he did that. He backed up so much because he thought, I'm going to grip and rip. But Fabio was good everywhere on the court. So there was Casper Ruud playing his game on the grass. He was able to blast one big shot, but it wasn't enough. And Fabio Fognini's hands are so good, he was able to keep the ball. Even though he hit it slow, he's able to keep it pretty deep. You saw that earlier. that ball, Casper is trying to get it deep, and Fabio Fognini picks it up off of the ground so that he still has the time to finish in that other point we just showed. One more.
Easy from here.
He blocks it, way behind. Nice backhand. Weak slice, floating like a Tsitsipas slice. Now it's Fabio time. Goodbye.
It's a brilliant rally and a wonderful winner.
Ah, so much fun. So much fun. So much fun. This will always be fun. Hit the music. We're going to get out of here. This will always be fun. And, you know, right now it's hard for me, but maybe, and I hope in the future as I drink Mr. Goat's favorite drink, I hope in the future, I'll go right back to the draw in a second, but I hope in the future that this will just be, you know, when I do coffee break tennis, it'll remind me of him and remind me of that wonderful time in my life where this was new and exciting, and I got to share the tennis with you, people who watch the show, and all your great comments. Thanks for the great comments about Mr. Goat. It's funny, there's always a lot of comments about Mr. Goat. And you know, doing this show in the future, I want to keep doing it, but it's weird doing it without Mr. Goat. Doing this show in the future, it'll just, you know, remind me of those great years I had with Mr. Goat. So this is cheers to Mr. Goat, your favorite drink. We'll even pour out a little Fiji water in the goat boat for our homie. Just a little. Back to the draw really quick. Finish this up. I like Sinner to come through. Shelton, of course. I like Sinner to win the whole thing. Dimitrov has a small chance, but they've already played this year, and Sinner was able to handle him. Alcaraz, I'm not sure about coming through Humbert. I like him over Tommy Paul. I would love to see him win because Mr. Goat's final music video I was working on when his health kind of out of nowhere. He'd had some health issues, but nothing too serious like what happened. You know, it surprised me. And I was working on the Alcaraz wins the French Open song with Mr. Goat, so it'll be the final music video featuring Mr. Goat. I will do it the next time Alcaraz wins a major. We kind of missed our chance now. So me and Mr. Goat up in Goat Heaven, we're hoping Alcaraz wins so we can do it this week. But don't worry, Alcaraz will win sooner than later. You know, he might win the U.S. Open. I'm sure he'll be winning a major soon if Sinner wins this one here at the Wimbledons. And we will we'll have something to look forward to. One last music video with Mr. Goat. I like Sinner over Alcaraz, of course, and I want to see how Joker looks, but I like Zverev over all these guys. I'll be surprised if Zverev goes down to Cam Norrie tomorrow or Taylor Fritz. Cam Norrie, another guy with a shovel backhand, very effective on the grass, very good on grass. I would just want to say one last time, thank you so much to everyone over the years for all the nice things you said about Mr. Goat. He's so special to me, and to see that people genuinely around the world loved him and he was special to them too, it made it always tickled me, I should say. We'll be back this weekend. Next week I have tennis camps, double duty, doing 2 tennis camps. It's gonna be crazy, but I'm gonna do my best. We'll be back for sure. And thanks again. I always miss Mr. Goat very much. Sometimes he was the best friend I had in the whole world. See ya!